I said I don't want to be an American, I want to be a Catholic. We talk Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Ernie Harwell, man, it would travel really far. Ernie Harwell was the voice of the Detroit Tigers. He passed away, but he's watching the show right now from up there in baseball announcer heaven. And my Uncle Wally worked for the Ford Motor Company and would come across the border from Canada to Detroit. And he bought season tickets to the Detroit Tigers, but he didn't have a lot of money, so he bought obstructed view seats, so I could never see the shortstop. But Ernie Harwell would call the game, and if there was a high fly foul ball and it went off into the stands, Ernie Harwell would always act like he knew who the person was from who caught it. And I was like, how does he know, Uncle Wally? So this is what Ernie Harwell sounded like. There's a high fly foul ball off to the right field seats, caught by the man from Walla Walla. First communion in St. Rita's Catholic Church. There was incense choking, a priest was smoking, there was a wild in a perch. My face got red and my stomach felt bad. They said, if you're gonna get sick, use a cup. Well, I thought by the time it was my turn for communion, Jesus would be all eaten up. We talk Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Jack Buck, man, it would travel really far. Jack Buck was the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. He's dead too. It's sad, but he lived a great life being a baseball announcer. And he's up in baseball announcer heaven watching me sing this song. Jack Buck's voice was not reedy and tenor-esque like Ernie Harwell's from the Tigers. Jack Buck's voice sounded like they got an auto mechanic from Athens, Ohio, on the hottest August day. And the auto mechanic had really fat fingers, and he rammed them down Jack Buck's throat and ripped out his vocal cords. Then they flew in Fidel Castro from Cuba with a veterinarian with a rusty needle, and Fidel Castro took Jack Buck's vocal cords and dropped them into a glass of 151 rum, and then set the glass of rum on fire, and then pulled out the crispy vocal cords and had the veterinarian from Cuba with the rusty needle sew them back in. So this is what Jack Buck sounded like to me. Here's Jack Buck for you. Coming up in the bottom of the ninth inning, Mark McGwire going after the home run record, chasing Sammy Sosa, trying to beat Roger Maris's home run record of 61 home runs in 1961. I don't believe what I just saw. Allergies were bad, so we moved to the desert, to a city called Palm Springs. We trick-or-treated at Liberace's house. Each finger had a diamond ring. We met Elvis Presley in the middle of the summer, and Elvis hugged my sister for far too long. Well, I felt kind of weird, but I would have pimped her out just to hear him sing a song. Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Harry Carey, Lord, it would travel really far. Harry Carey was the voice of the Chicago Cubs. He's dead too. But he's watching this set from baseball announcer heaven. Harry Carey, when he announced the game, his voice wasn't reedy and tenor-esque, nor was it gruff like Jack Buck's. Harry Carey's voice was drunk. And if you had a player from the Dominican Republic coming up to bat, or from Mexico, or Puerto Rico, Harry Carey could never pronounce their names. So say it was the 70s and the Cubbies were playing the Cincinnati Reds and Davey Concepcion was coming up. And the Big Red Machine's playing, and here comes Davey Concepcion. And of course, Sparky Anderson's already been out to the mound to yell at the umpire. This is why Harry Carey, how he would butcher Davey Concepcion's name. He'd say this. Coming up to the top of the ninth inning here at Wrigley Field, Dino Consiglione. Get your own style here. Cubs lose, Reds win. Now one of my earliest memories was John Kennedy getting shot. My mom was crying and ironing clothes and my face felt really hot. I watched the funeral on TV. It was there in black and white. I saw a son salute his father's flag draped coffin and things did not seem right. Now here I am, a growing up boy at home on the 4th of July, staring out at the ocean and the fireworks in the sky. I miss my friends who aren't around, the ones who passed away. Well, I'm feeling kind of grateful here in Nelsonville today. Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Tom Cheek, man, it would travel really far. Tom Cheek was the voice of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's dead too. I know he's watching this because he got to call the game when the Toronto Blue Jays repeated as World Series champs and beat the Philadelphia Phillies. Sorry, Lou. Up at bat was Joe Carter for the Toronto Blue Jays. On the mound was Mitch the Wild Thing Williams. And Tom Cheek was the announcer for the Blue Jays. And he starts giving Joe Carter crap. And he goes like this. Joe is having trouble trying to lay off that ball low to the outside part of the plate. We just went after one. 2-2, a high fly, all the way to center field. It's gone. Blue Jays win. The Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champs. And then he says, touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Now, seeing as how we were from Canada, my dad was in the living room watching it, and all he had on was his underwear and a Canadian flag wrapped around him, and he ran out into the front yard. And my dad threw off his underwear and ran naked down the street with the Canadian flag. And our neighbors called the cops. And my dad got arrested. I have never been so proud. Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Elvis Presley, man, it'll always travel really far. I get allergies and asthma in the yard, but no one ever told me growing up would be so hard. Touch 'em all, Joe. So, I've met